We're talking about farmers today, and I'm sorry. That was still there from my shop videos. Let me get rid of my creator code. You know what? No, I'm just gonna leave it there for the whole video. So, I was feeling a little hesitant about recording this video today because I wasn't entirely sure that it was necessary. I have an old video right here on screen of me covering some of the best Outlander loadouts in the game, and basically that was an addition to my series of all of the best loadouts for the different hero classes, soldiers, ninjas, outlanders, and constructors. I inevitably never did a video on constructors because that's way too basic. Like, seriously, just pick what you need. If you need strong walls, then just load up the support. There's really, not that many complicated ways to set up constructors. And with Outlanders, it was kind of the same sort of thing where I took the approach to, showing the best way to farm. And I thought that video was good. I still think it's good. I'm going to link it below. It's still public and everything. But Clip came to the game. She changed everything. Never mind the fact that it's been a year since I recorded that video. I'm older. I'm wiser. I have lights behind me now and a face cam because people requested that heavily. I'm glad you guys, like what you see. But I have a few more things to say. Right off the bat, I'm going to get some plugs out of the way. If you want just the field guide to all items in the entire game, obviously I'm going to link my how to get every item video in the description below. That is, to this day, a fantastic resource. It's older. Again, I am wiser now, but how to get every item in that game is still relevant. Also, running expeditions is a fantastic way to do that. If you guys just want a quick little guide, I always thought I was going to make a video on expeditions and how to do them, but I'll tell you now. First and foremost, you want to do the bread box, the crafting supplies. This is what's going to get you all of the regular stuff, the nuts and bolts, the rough ore, the fibrous herbs, all the things that you want. And nowadays, and this is going to lead on to my second point that I wanted to cover before we get started, is the trap packs. Medium is usually not worth your time, but it might be. You definitely want to do large. If you get the traps, you can recycle them to get 100% of the materials back. And that's the other thing I wanted to mention right off the bat. I'm glad that segue worked so well. If you farm a lot and you end up getting tons of materials, you can craft whatever trap you want in the entire game and you can recycle it for full. Anti-air traps, for example, are going to cost me 7 nuts and bolts, 4 and 1. But if I go to recycle this, I will get everything back. I'll get all 1400, 800, and 200 quartz in the respective materials. And this is not a new trick. That was new a year ago when I mentioned it in my old video, but it's a fantastic trick to say that, right off the bat, here's how to get every item in the game, and using this trick for traps, you can crunch all of them down. You'll see that my backpack is nearly full, but so is my storage of just tons of traps. Some were gifted, some were crafted by me, and I just can, downcraft any of these to get everything back. Now, with all that out of the way, let's talk about farming loadouts. I know I've already showed this right off the bat here, but this is not the best farming loadout. There is no best farming loadout. I mean, shocker. If you've seen my videos before, that will not be a surprise. But there are a few ways to go about farming. And there are 3-ish primary ways you can do it. First and foremost is actually, I'm going to start with the pickaxe, and that's with Pathfinder Jess. You can just use her in the lead. I'll talk about the respective loadouts in a second, but for the categories, you got the pickaxe, and then anti-material charge, which is the punch. That's, that's what most people are thinking of. And then there's kind of a third one where there are a lot of different anti-material charge users in general, and a lot of people brought up 1-2 punch. I always thought 1-2 punch was kind of a cop-out because the way it works is that it reduces your heavy attack cost, the energy cost, based on, the last ability that you use. So if you have all of your supports filled up and this thing is active to 100%, if you phase dash, for example, your next punch will do 0 energy. And as far as I can tell, you're essentially complicating your farming by making it look free by spending your energy on dashing, which doesn't seem efficient at all, and I don't really think that one didn't click with me. A lot of people recommended this. I got a few comments on this, and I'm really not convinced that this is a good way to go. But if you want to use 1-2 punch and make your farming free, then that is an option for you. I went with phase and confuse just to up my phase shift, and then my phased out was, able to reduce the cooldown time, which was nice and all. And there wasn't really any energy regeneration. I had to use fuel for the fallen, which I didn't really show very well because I didn't kill any enemies, and that's kind of my point, is that when you're farming, not just trying to demonstrate for a video, you're not worried about enemies. You're running around punching rocks. You're running around punching cars. You're not focused on the enemies. You shouldn't have to be stopping to kill things, and that's why I'm kind of not on board with this. So let's move on to the one that I actually, believe it or not, had the most fun with. This has always felt like kind of a weird build, but Pathfinder Jess. So in the gameplay you're about to see more of, I was using this loadout where I had Archaeologist and Fossil Southie in support. This is just giving me the constant energy regeneration. You're going to hear about those two heroes a lot today because you need them in basically any anti-material charge based build. And then of course 100% we're using Clip. So she is definitely something we'll talk about later, but like literally a must-have. Her plus Southie plus Archaeologist are the three that you're going to need for any farming build. Your other two support slots are almost whatever you want, basically. Of course, you're going to have Blast from the Past active, but we'll get to all that in a second. She is just fantastic to have in support. However, she only affects the anti-material charge. So I'm running all this in support just so that with Pathfinder Jess, I can constantly punch because I'll have that 33% chance to get extra materials from Clip, and then I'm just punching as many trees as I possibly can. And I'm only still showing this loadout because I want to talk about going coconuts. I had like a phase shift thing in my gameplay, but as I'm talking about it now, coconuts were going to be better because A, it keeps you alive, that's nice and all, but it gives you a 16% extra damage, so it would make all of my pickaxe damage do more. But as you can see, I'm already 3-shotting most rocks and trees, and in a forest, holy crap, this was way more efficient than I thought it would be, because in a forest, everything breaks in about 3 shots, like I said. So you're just mowing through the entire thing, almost literally, just getting all of the wood, all of the planks, all of the twine, all of the adhesive resin. If you're breaking rocks, you're getting more rough ore and everything. Of course, you got to remember to use your anti-material charge so that you can get that 33% chance to get extra stuff. But while you're at it, just smack everything. And so Pathfinder Jess is like a really, really good hands-on approach, but a lot of people might not like the fact that you're not instantly breaking everything and you're not quite getting that 100% bonus. So let's skip over my Fossil Southie build and talk about Clip. I have officially switched sides. I was convinced that she is best in the lead, and I stand by that depending on what you're farming for, but let's talk about it. So her in the lead is kind of the same story as Archaeologist. A lot of people have compared Archaeologist to Fossil Southie in the way that Fossil Southie apparently got more punches off. I don't know if I did it wrong, but I was only able to punch 4 times in a row before my energy ran out. If you somehow don't know what he does, he gives you 12 energy per second in the lead, 4 energy per second in the support, and it's kind of tricky to use him in the lead because you need Blast from the Past active. So you can see to have him in the lead, I need to have kind of a dead perk with Saurian Might in my support. So it's kind of not my favorite thing to have Fossil Southie in the lead, but I found that he might actually be the best because with Clip in the lead, she performs basically like Archaeologist in the lead, where you get like more punches in a row, but that doesn't really make sense because Archaeologist will get 6 punches in a row and then you're out of energy and then you're regenerating slowly, and it wasn't really a good experience. So I found it to be most comfortable to actually run Fossil Southie in the lead because he was constantly regenerating energy. Obviously, you get less punches with spamming it, but you're not always spamming it. You know, you're running to the next rock, you're running to the next car, you're running to the next tree. There's going to be a little bit of downtime here and there, and he's giving you 12 energy per second. So it's about 3 seconds wait time to get your next punch back. And of course, you can stash up 100 energy to punch about 3 or 4 times in a row. So he is just go, 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 go. And as you can see, I actually don't have Clip in my support here. That was a mistake. I was just sort of setting these up for demonstration purposes. I do have a couple of phase shift things in here, which are nice to get around the map, and you can afford it with Fossil Southie in the lead, but I would say either put Pathfinder Jess in the support, just so that you can punch things if that comes to that with your pickaxe, or obviously you want Clip in support, or you can just have phased out or phasing infused. These just make you, dash faster. It's nice to get around the map if you're farming. I think that makes sense. And while you are getting less of the resources that Clip gives you, you are getting more of the builds. So that's kind of one of the situations where I talked about how Clip might not actually be the best all the time. And this is sort of why I switched sides. She is really, really good for rough ore, planks, nuts and bolts, literally anything extra that you get. She doesn't give you any extra wood, brick, or metal. And that's very important because I was farming rocks in a lot of my gameplay because I was low on brick from yesterday's farming session. I was down to under 1,000. So I was prioritizing rocks, which she's not giving me any more of. So it's actually kind of dumb for me to run her in the lead if I'm just trying to get a building material. And if I don't really need any more of the rough ore or oxidized powder or something, she's not that helpful. Not to mention, if you just run Southie in the lead, you're still going to get plenty of that stuff anyway. I mean, how have we been farming for the past several years? We've never needed Clip. She's just kind of nice to have. And nice to have, she definitely is. In fact, while I'm recording, I'm kind of sick of her not being in my support. This is how this loadout should look. This is just probably my personal favorite way to go. As I said, if you're specifically grinding for nuts and bolts, any of the extra additional ingredients that she gives you, she is probably more bang for your buck in the lead. She's definitely more focused if you're just trying to get the most nuts and bolts kind of thing. But I think if you just play the numbers game and punch constantly with Southie, you'll end up with more of all of that stuff anyway. I knew I would forget. I left a note even before I recorded, but I got to the end without even mentioning. A lot of people want me to run long arm of the law with clip, and I want to talk about, like, I've been recommended this so many times that I feel like it's worth bringing up in a video, that you don't want anti-material charge to be extended here because it's helpful. That is a nice thing to have, but to run long arm of the law, you're going to lose blast from the past. And the whole reason, as I mentioned, that we use blast from the past is for fossil Southie. You need that energy regeneration. Clip is already slow enough in the lead, and this will just slow her down even more. Unless you're willing to like throw a drone or put traps over an encampment or something, both of those are very sketchy, and the drone is very limited. I don't see a way to make that not very wonky or not very impractical. Long arm of the law is nice. It gives you more distance on your punch. That can be helpful, but it's going to slow you down so much that it's not really worth it. So that's kind of where I'm landing on this. Those are some of the best farming loadouts. I know, kind of snuck up on you how we're at the end already. But yeah, that's basically all there is to say. And that's kind of why I felt a little weird re-recording this video, because my video from forever ago is basically what I'm saying today. It's just the same loadouts I recommended a year ago, but hey, throw clip in support. But I understand that a lot of you guys wanted me to update this video with the new information and really flesh out what clip brings to the table. So to just summarize everything one more time for the end here, she is good in the lead if you need crafting ingredients, and she is really good in support. If you're running a build based around anti-material charge, around that punch, you're using Southie in the lead or Archaeologist in the lead. As I mentioned, I think Southie's better. If you're running one of those loadouts, you need her in support. It's kind of stupid actually to not have her in support because she's really easy to get from the quest line. Obviously she's in the collection book, so you can grab her with a voucher. That's actually how I got her, just to make the video. I don't recommend doing that so long as you can get her from the quest line, but she is just fantastic to run the support, and I can't recommend not using her. But that's pretty much it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to use code Mista at your checkout. Normally I'd head over to the item shop to show that, but we're doing things a little different today. You can become a channel member here if you guys want to support me on YouTube. I am trying to get partner on Twitch, so if you're watching this in the future, I might already be a partner, but feel free to follow me down there, hang out in the streams. We really have a good time over there. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a nice day. And then